What is up, everybody? Liam Murphy back with today. Our special guest is CJ Kaltenbach, aka the Seige DFS. How you doing today, CJ?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. So I first, I think I've known you through the years on, I'm new to Twitter, but I think I've been playing DFS for, since early college days for me, and I think I used to listen to like Roto Grinders. I think you used to be there, maybe you still are. And recently, I was in Tennessee, and I was flying back from visiting my friend, and I ran into. I noticed you, and I noticed Adam, aka Ship the
Ship my
money,
money.
and you guys were having a beer. You got I think it was the DK NBA Live Final was happening, and I approached you guys. I was like, I might as well say hi. I was like, "What's up, fellas? You guys are." I don't know, remember what I said, but I do remember the look of fear on your guys' face. Like when I was like, I think I said like, "Hey, like, are you CJ and Adam from Twitter or whatever?" And you guys were like, "Oh God, we got a crazy over here."
I think we were just stunned. It's kind of like we had just done DFS all weekend. And we're like, oh, we're free from DFS. No, not so fast.
Yeah, and I just, I was like, oh, I might as well say hi. Like, I know who these guys are. I'm not gonna just lurk and walk on by. So said hi, had a beer.
Once we knew who you were, it was a lot simpler.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be ripping a Best Ball Mania 3 stream. If you need to get up and running on UnderdogFantasy.com, you can use promo code ChessLiam, although almost all of you are. But let's talk about your journey with best ball before we get into this. How long have you been playing best ball? What's your relationship with it? What is your plan of attack this year as far as what sites you're playing on, what buy-ins, etc.?
Yeah, so my experience with best ball goes like back to the beginning of the draft days. For those of you that are OG, draft before was the thing before Underdog, and Dan Bach and I were the ones that kind of, well, mostly Dan, a little bit of me, were like, hey, Jeremy, you should try this best ball tournament on your site. You should try it. And so then he released it. So yeah, basically like from the beginning, been involved in best ball. This year, I mean, I'm gonna play Underdog, Drafters, and DraftKings for sure. I mean, DraftKings just sucks without like the freaking like the limiter. So we'll see how much I actually draft there.
Are you planning to like max the milli makers? Or are you just gonna do a couple, whatever is convenient? Like what's the plan?
I say I'm not gonna max draft it, but I know what's gonna happen. Like in a couple weeks, I'll be like, ooh, there's some potential overlay, and I got 3 monitors here, so I'll just start ripping 3 at a time.
And it's a fun sweat, man. It gives you a sweat for a whole year. Like if you do the math for divided by 17 weeks, like
yeah,
it's
it's tough not to justify maxing the milli. Like 750, like no big deal. Like I've maxed like numerous puppies already, so like how could I not justify doing the milli maker? It takes a lot more effort to max that than, let's say, a puppy.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm at about like 60 in the DK $5, and I will max, but it's like every time, like I'm already at 125 maybe Best Ball Mania 3, so I'm not gonna like save my clip or anything there. I mainly use them for streams now, but like late night watching a movie or whatever, I'm like, I might as well get some drafts down, and it's really hard for me to click on the DK button this year. I'm like, I just hate the lack of draft board, to be honest.
I hate everything about it. It's just about it.
Yeah. This is one of the gripes. Breaking news,
except the players.
Apparently Deontay Johnson just signed a 2-year deal. That's kind of weird. A really short deal to me. So like, assuming that this is real news, my take on that is maybe the Steelers just want to keep the talented wide receivers around to assess Pickett, and it's a shorter deal because it's like, oh, let's see where we're at in 2 years. If it bottoms out, we can recoup some draft picks. But like bad teams don't really want to get rid of offensive players because they want them to, they want their quarterback to be throwing to talented people to help assess them, not like scrubs, You're on mute, man. Not coming through for me. Guys in the chat, let me know if you can hear CJ and if I just can't. If you are listening, please help us out. CJ? Try leaving and coming back maybe. Can't hear CJ. He's muted. Nope. I just told him to leave and rejoin. In the meantime, what's up, Jordan? Yeah, man, I can help you get better at chess. I'm eventually going to start streaming chess and starting a a YouTube channel there. But you can also, I made a lot of chess content for chesskid.com. You can check out their YouTube page in the meantime. CJ,
Take two.
You're back. You're back.
I didn't even do anything. Okay.
So what did you think about what I said about the 2-year deal on Deontay and using it to really assess the Pickett, basically?
Yeah, but it's pretty tough when they're already telling us that Kyle Rudolph's leading the quarterback competition. Not great.
Mason Rudolph.
I'm sorry, what did I say? Kyle Rudolph? I
tweeted out the other day 2 polls, and it was, who do you think the Pittsburgh quarterback is going to be, and who do you think the Seahawks quarterback is going to be? And the votes were very confident it would be Trubisky. It was 75%, which goes counterintuitive with the reports we're seeing today, or at this point, which is basically like Trubisky's look bad. Mason Rudolph is a bit in the lead. Pickett is still live because he is a he's playing with the second team. He just hasn't really had a shot yet. Like, Steelers is an organization that's gonna make the rookie go through the steps to me. And then for the Seahawks, the market's throwing up its hands. I put Jimmy G as an option. I put Geno Smith, and I put Drew Lock, and it basically was like a split.
I can't imagine that the 49ers let just Jimmy G go to Seattle.
I mean, yes, I understand that, but like, Jimmy G doesn't really make the Seahawks a playoff team by themselves, to me. And then also, they might just have to cut the guy.
I still think Jimmy G ends up in Cleveland.
That's a possibility. I don't know. Like, look, I don't think Jimmy G's that good. Apparently, he's look good throwing the ball, but they're trying to trade him. All right, guys, if you're trying to draft with us, let's get this draft. CJ, let's bink a milli. Do you have any best ball take for the people out there? Players you really like, constructions you think are bad, hot takes, give it to them.
I just think that people are drafting the wrong player first overall, but let's make sure we don't get in the front half before we're in the back.
We are the 112, so we don't have to worry about anyone sniping our picks, and thus it's coming up. But I don't think JT's any. I think amongst the sharp crowd, people are not saying JT is the 101. Is it McCaffrey for you?
Yeah, it's McCaffrey 1-1 for me. I gotta be honest, Taylor's not even number 2 for me. So
yeah, I would. If I was only doing 3 lineups and I got 3 101s, I would do McCaffrey for 1. I would definitely do Kupp for 1. Although the Matthew Stafford arm injury is a little alarming. And the reason why I like Kupp is just because of the running back talent you can pair with him in the 20 in picks 2-3 is better to me than the wide receiver talent you can pair with a running back here.
Yeah, I actually have Justin Jefferson as my 101 at wide receiver. So
Justin, a lot of people are there. A lot of people on FFPC, like the higher buy-in sites, generally take Jefferson over Kupp, and like I see the reason why. Like, he's probably a more talented wide receiver. He's younger. Kupp was older. Like he's only done it 1 year. But how about you lay out the case for why Jefferson is your 101 at wideout?
Yeah, basically went from a bottom 5 offensive play calling design staff to probably one that's in the top 5 to 7, and Kevin O'Connell coming from the Rams system. Just going to be more pass heavy in this offense. They play in a dome. So I think you can exploit Jefferson there. He's got a lot of deep ball. He can do work stuff over the middle. And also the defenses in that division are not that great. The Packers are pretty overrated. The Lions are okay, but not great. And then the Bears are just going to be a complete dumpster fire again this season. So I think that the NFC West is a pretty strong division with the Cardinals and the 49ers in there. And so I just think Justin Jefferson's going to be just in a better situation this year than Cooper Kupp. Like, I don't think Cooper Kupp's going to be
What's
bad.
the thing on Cup though? Like why would he not? Like, obviously, maybe he won't match this season 1-for-1. Like, yeah, Allen Robinson's now there. That's a bit more target competition. Akers is now healthy again. Maybe they didn't exactly want to throw that much, but like, I don't see the case why Cup is not, barring Matthew Stafford's arm injury. Like, Kirk Cousins is just worse than Matt Stafford, right? Like, we have to acknowledge that. Even though I like
sure,
Kirk
but
Cousins is on
again,
the tail
I'm
end of
not.
the league for me.
Yeah, it's just.
And
to
then
me,
also
it's
like Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is probably a more talented wide receiver back than Cam Akers.
Yeah, I just don't think the Rams are going to end up in that many shootouts this season because I just think the defense is so good.
Their
So
defense, they lost a lot on defense though. They lost Von Miller.
they didn't have Von Miller the whole year, anyways. So like, it's not like it's
Real
not
quick,
as good as it was
let's
last
get
year.
back to
But
that, but we're on the clock here. Siege, how about you cue us up with two players here? You want to go Kelsey? You want to go CeeDee Lamb? You want to go double running back?
so for me, this running back tier for me is just like a straight pass. I don't really like any of the options. So for me,
Yep.
it would be Kelsey and Lamb.
All right, let's do it. Easy enough.
So I'm just out on Swift this season.
Are you Lamb over Debo?
Probably just because of the ADP difference, right? I can get Debo in the mid-second round, and I can't really get Lamb anywhere other than the turn.
Yeah.
And with James Washington out and Gallup looking more and more unlikely to play the first 4 games, there's just gonna be so many targets for Lamb early on.
Yeah, the only question is like, how good is CD Lamb, right? Like, I know a lot of people are down on Debo, and look, I've been taking. I wasn't really taking CD earlier in this season, but I've come around and I'm getting shares, partially because of the injury, partially because all his target competition is unproven, essentially, other than Dalton Schultz. For Debo, it's just like, I think Trey Lance is an upgrade, even if Trey Lance is going to be running. And I think I always thought Debo's still going to run a bit. And we saw the recent contract. It's not that much money compared to the whole contract, but the running is still part of that. Like, he has rushing incentives. So, like, if you're asking me which wide receiver between Debo and CD could finish as the wide receiver 1 on the season, I'd be more inclined to say Debo. But Debo has a lot more target competition. I like Brandon Ayuk. I like George Kittle. I like their running backs, So ultimately it's splitting hairs though a bit, with these high draft picks.
Yeah, I love Debo. I think I was just checking my exposures. He's one of my highest owned wide receivers. So it's not like I'm against Debo. It's just that I don't really want to take a stand against CeeDee Lamb.
That's fair. That makes a lot of sense to me. Let's talk about some of your hot Twitter takes. I think that's why a lot of people like you. Sometimes you play the heel, I feel. But walk us through one tweet that made me laugh was the pool party invite, the Vegas pool party invite.
I was just doing it for a friend. So I have a buddy out there.
Am I going to be able to first off, tell the people what it is. Second off, can I get the friend invite? Because I don't think I qualify through sheer follower count.
I'm not even sure they're doing it again. I hope they are. So it was a company out there that a buddy of mine runs called BetSperts. It's basically like an app to track your betting. And so they were just looking for people to fill out their cabana at Circa. And he's like, "Hey, do you know anybody?" And I was like, "Yeah, like, what the hell?" Like, I got a lot of people that qualify that I know might be out there. I'll throw out a tweet, and it just took a life of its own.
But didn't you say like you must have?
Yeah, it was like, he just wanted like some Twitter presence. Like, like, we'll give you free booze all day if you just like tweet out something about BetSperts. Like,
what was the minimum Twitter following though?
I don't even remember.
You don't? Okay.
It
was funny. I don't even remember when it was, but
it was just one of those that's like it's sometimes I know I'm walking into a trap. That one I had absolutely no
idea. How about any of the are you someone who does like the I know you love going to Vegas. Are you someone who does the FFBC main events in person or anything like that, or more saving the role for DFS?
No, no, do a few of those every year. Doing at least 2, maybe 3 main events out there in Vegas, at least this year.
Are you doing any online or
Yeah, I've done
all?
4, so which means I'll end up doing 6 with the discount, which is about what I do. I like to have about 10 to 12 managed teams in the high stakes round between the 350s and the 1500s or the 2Ks. So I don't. Waivers becomes a little bit of a pain in the ass once you get past that number for me. I found.
Yeah,
Be-
I mean,
be-
I'm around there, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, I'm gonna hate these waivers pretty soon. One of my strategies might be in some like in a couple of the leagues where I'm like I don't know, I have a bad start to the season. The plan is just gonna be to blow the fab on like on anyone that could be a good buy. I'm just gonna be like unload the clip, and what's kind of nice is if you build a lot of your team zero running back that way, you can just like every year there's gonna like an Elijah Mitchell or Cordero Patterson type emerges where there's a guy you could at least sell yourself on, and it's not gonna work out every year, but you can at least put those ones and be like, okay, I only have money left for like defenses and quarterbacks for spot starts and whatever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play them straight. Like it's a couple hours on Wednesday afternoons, but it's football season, right? What else am I doing on Wednesday afternoons?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can find the time. Well, I'm planning on being out there too. I have a couple weddings around then, so I just need to check the dates. But I want to get out there. I know a lot of the ship chasing crews getting out there. Peter Overzet.
Yeah, it was good hanging out with them last year too. So hopefully we can do that again there.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be out there. Quite a bit of people. So I want to say hi to that crew too. I hang out in that Discord quite a bit for best ball purposes.
All right, who's left on the board for us?
So we are coming up to a lot of wide receivers, a couple running backs I'm still interested in. My guy and Josh Allen. And yeah, we got a pretty wide open board here. I don't have a lot of James Conner, so I wouldn't hate getting a share of him.
I have 0 James Conner. I don't think. Let me just double check.
Yeah, I mean, the case is still there for it. I'm okay passing on him too. What
Apparently I have
you want to go
10%
Gabe
on
Davis,
him.
Josh Allen? You want to go James Conner? You want to go Marquise Brown?
So for me, I would personally be going Waddle and Allen Robinson here.
No, we're not doing Allen Robinson. I'll give you Waddle.
Why aren't you doing Allen Robinson?
Because I have like infinite shares at this cost, and so why would I buy it?
Fair enough.
So
so we could pivot then to I don't mind Gabe Davis if you want to go that direction.
Yeah, I mean Gabe Davis, I had 60% last year. He's my highest owned player this year.
That's always a good sign to hear that you like all the guys I do. For me, this is a pretty dead tier, which is why I keep ending up with those type of guys.
For me, the guys in this tier are Marquise Brown. I like a lot. James Conner and Breece Hall. I take stabs at these running backs. Josh Allen, I take quite a bit. Like if we wanted to grab,
you're gonna have to make sure you take this stuff off auto pick.
So auto pick is a great thing, by the way, guys. That
yes, it is.
Underdog finally implemented. If you do any volume of drafts, which if you're watching this right now, I assume you do, you should be like literally. I sat down and I did the math. If you average one auto drafter per draft, which the math is probably even over that, it's literally like days off your life over a course of 150 that you are waiting, and so I want to see them release 10-second clocks, 15-second clocks, and auto drafting is a great start. If we were going to go Gabe Davis, I kind of would have gone Josh Allen and Gabe Davis. Like, why not be done with the QB1? But
yeah, that's fair.
Waddle's cool with me. And in this, the way the tier range lines up is we can very easily get Dak Prescott here.
Or we can go a different direction too.
Yeah, or we could go
in that same vein. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tweeted this out, and you said save it for the stream, but I said I think people are just like, oh, the Patriots always have a really great defense, but like I watched that team against good offenses last year, and they got eviscerated. I think they got worse this year. They lost J.C. Jackson. You're a Patriots fan, right?
Yeah. So I think
you walking through the free agent differences and the defensive draft picks that you think actually make a difference.
I think that it's going to be – I think by the end of the season, it'll be okay. Like it always is. But people forget that the Patriots historically have a horrible September record. because
Well,
their
and the
defense
Patriots
is
last
so
year,
bad.
they played the Jaguars, they played the Jets twice, they played the Dolphins twice. Like they played the Falcons. They played a lot of teams with a lot of bad O lines. Our schedule is not as easy this year.
No, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they do on offense because they're going to have to throw the ball more. You're going to
That's
see
how
more.
I have a lot of Mac Jones and late Patriots stacks because of that.
I'm a little scared of Mac Jones himself, but I do end up with a lot of Patriots pass catchers.
I think Mac Jones' ceiling as a player is around a Kirk Cousins, which is a really valuable, like a better Kirk Cousins, honestly, which is a really valuable fantasy asset. In my
I just
opinion.
always struggle to like, why am I going to take Mac Jones like 3 rounds before Davis Mills? I struggle with that. Like,
Yeah, but like you're talking about like taking the 15th versus the 7th, like it's not that actionable. Like you
yeah,
don't want to be. I like Davis Mills too. I like Marcus Mariota. I like Carson Wentz. Like I like a lot of cheap quarterbacks I
yeah,
can
you're the
sell.
one who's got me on this Mariota Ritter thing. I think the
Uh,
first time you mentioned it to me, I laughed at you, and then it's kind of like just been marinating in the back of my head. And it's kind of like, I really do like everybody else on this offense. I probably should just do it more.
yeah, and I mean Mariota, like the reports on Mariota are strong. Plus, he could very easily do it on the ground. Like we're not going to get that with a lot of these other guys late.
And I'm also a huge Pitts guy, and just remembering what Mariota did to Delaney Walker is just like super exciting.
All right, so Murray goes there. I love Amon-Ra, so we're getting him. Who else?
Oh God, why? Okay,
Well,
we'll talk about that afterwards.
all right.
Oh
Let's
God,
let me make
it's
the
only
other
my
pick.
first share. No,
If we're going running back, we're going Mitchell. I think.
we're not touching these running backs. Just
Want to go Michael
we're going
Thomas?
0 RB. We've kind of sold ourselves into that. I personally would take Thielen here. I want a piece of that Vikings offense, as I mentioned at the top.
I'm cool
But
with Thielen. The one thing on, I didn't. Looks like it went a little quick on me there, but the one thing on Thielen that gives me pause is, I mean, with the wide receivers left, I was cool with it, but why I've not been taking Thielen at this price is, again, I have like all my shares in this range, which by itself is not that actionable, but like he goes right after young, exciting players. Like Amon-Ra, I'm really excited about. Brandon.
I think Ross St. Brown is gonna be one of the biggest disappointments this season.
Well, Amon-Ra won me $1 million, so you got to go with the guys who won it for you last year. Yeah, and like the Cooper Cup Light is a pretty obvious comparison. Lots of people have made. Reports are good
This
in
is
camp.
way worse draft. Like they use basically, you were buying the ceiling on Ramon and Ross St. Brown.
I
And I say
don't.
that as a guy
People
who had
love
a
to
ton of
say
them
you're
last
buying the
year too.
ceiling. Like you're buying the ceiling on every player. Like
You're not buying the ceiling on every player.
who are we buying the floor on in the first 2 rounds?
I mean, okay, I didn't say we were buying the floor, but like we're not paying the ceiling price on Jalen Waddle. We're not paying the ceiling on Gabe Davis.
I mean,
Like these guys next year could be first round picks.
sure. Could Adam Thielen? Never in his
No,
life.
no,
Could Amon-Ra does Amon-Ra have more round one possibilities than Adam Thielen? Absolutely.
sure, but he also Ramon Ross St. Brown has a lot of like 10th round possibilities too.
Yeah, sure. If Jameson Williams becomes that guy, is like really the only slash they they have a lot of guys that can compete for short targets, but I'm not in on TJ Hawkinson is why I'm in on Amon-Ra. The and like what like how are you going to ignore the like I know everyone was injured, but you don't just do what Amon-Ra did down the stretch and be bad at football.
I mean, I thought he went way too low in the draft. So it's like I'm a Notre Dame guy and he's the first USC guy. I was like, he's just really good. Like he's a really good player. But the problem is just that like when you have a team that used the 5th round draft pick on him, used a first rounder on Jameson Williams, and traded away a lot of future picks for that player, like it's just tough to see like in the back half of the shootout him being the number 1 guy. Like that's just a tough road for me to see this year. So I probably would have gone. I mean, the problem is just like I don't know who I would have taken there. Maybe Trey Lance, but I didn't expect Trey Lance to get jumped that far. I could have seen that case, but yeah, I just don't think Ramon Ross St. Brown is worth it. I think on this construction though is probably the one I would consider it on because it'll have some spike weeks.
I'm definitely not going any of these wide receivers over Amon-Ra. And honestly, like, give me Drake London over Thielen some portion of the time. Give
Yeah,
me
oh,
MC
sure.
over Thielen. Some like, we're not drafting like we're doing something 100% any of the time, but I don't know. Like, I, the thing I do agree with you is I generally don't try to take wide receivers on potentially bad offenses, but I don't think the Lions are going to be a bad offense. I think they have their defense is going to be very bad. Every piece on offense except for Goff is exciting. Their O-line is very good. Their pass catching core is a world's difference than last year.
My problem is just that they just like to run the ball. Like they want to run the ball, and they've got 2 or 3 guys they're going to run the ball with a lot. It's just
How are
in
you
this
going to be running the
construction, I
ball
like
when your
it a lot.
defense is letting up a touchdown every time? Like you can't.
Their
You can
defense
want to
wasn't
do
that bad
something.
last year. They really weren't that bad on defense.
Their defense is not that good. I mean, they did invest in it this year.
But like it was okay last year. If it just learned how to defend the 2-minute drill, it would have been a lot better.
I like Treylon. I like Olave. I like Dak fits our team. I'm cool with one of the running backs too. If you want to go like Dak.
I don't really have a strong opinion on this tier of running backs. It's kind of the next tier I want to hop into. So I'm fine with Dak. We have CD. That makes a lot of sense to me. I think that's where we should
Tennessee
start.
plays Dallas week 17 too. If we want to
Well, we
stack
could
that.
talk about that if you want to do that. I don't mind that correlation. Traylon's one of the guys in this tier I like.
After Treylon and Olave, it's a pretty big tier break for.
So it basically says that once you auto pick twice, like you're just going on auto anytime you miss.
No, so once you auto pick, so once it should, what was okay? So maybe I'm misconfusing, but what was told to me is if you auto pick 2 picks in a row, you get thrown on
Yeah,
an auto. Oh,
because
and I guess I'm autoing this one is what keeps happening.
right, that's what I'm saying. We keep
Yeah.
autoing the turn. Yeah.
All right, well, cool. We got our wide receiver core, and with this group, honestly, I'm comfortable stopping at 6 wide receivers, which I think the mistake a lot of people do when they do 0 RB is they try to like end up with 9 when you start with like 6. So I'm comfortable stopping with this group unless there's a value we like late. And like a construction to me that makes sense with this would be like 2, 8, 6, 2, where we have 8 darts at running back and we have an elite tight end, we have an elite quarterback. But if you want to do something more like a 2-7-7-2 or something like that, that's cool with me.
It just depends on which running backs we get in this next kind of group tier of kind of like where my confidence level is. Because I'm not afraid to be a little more aggressive in the 0 RB department than most. But it really just depends on who I get.
Well, I think most people approach it that way. I think if you're trying to get unique, stopping at 6 wide receivers is way more unique. But no, I agree with you. Like if there's, I could never see me going under. Like maybe occasionally I'm doing 5 running. I think last year I did a lot of 5 running back like this, and I think that was a mistake that I'm trying to correct this year, where I'm trying to do more 6, 7 with these types of builds. Because if you're taking a wide receiver in the 13th or 14th round, we either whiffed on a pickup here, which doesn't matter too much by itself, or they just provided a spike week, which is of course possible as well. But generally, I call this kind of like the hyper fragile wide receiver build. Like we're putting stress that on a roster that we can assess talented wide receivers, which honestly, if you're going to be doing a position, like wide receiver is a group to do it with. So we'll see who gets to us though. But these are rounds I really like taking running backs too in the 9-10 and 11-12, because there's a lot of guys like, it could be a bunch of dudes, but these rounds are going to emerge some league winners at running back, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more. I love this is the tier I love.
Yeah, and we'll save the guys we like until after we pass these rounds, because as we know, a lot of people are listening. We don't want them sniping us. Checking in on the other drafters, everyone else at least has 2 running backs. The guy next to us, the 2 guys next to us started pretty heavily with running backs, so that's a bit nice where in theory we shouldn't have to worry about them as much taking running backs. These guys might go a little bit more for running backs with them only having 2, but they both have studs, so they don't need to. They can push it.
Yeah. I'm really surprised with the Damian Harris push back up again. I thought for sure that the days of him getting pushed back up in training camp were done. I'm pretty disappointed by that. He was one of my biggest targets this season.
Are you more Damian than Ramondre?
I think it's pretty clear the Pats are just going to run Damian Harris into the ground. I never understood anything to the contrary.
Yeah, like if they're not that good, like why would they waste Ramondre's legs? I like Ramondre. I like Damian at cost now. I was not taking Damian when it was like this range, but if he's gonna, I want him to keep falling. I don't have that many shares, but I want to start getting him in this range.
Yeah, I was getting him in like the 110 to 125 range, and I was loving life there.
Yeah, a lot of paths there. Okay, so we're getting a little falling value at tight end potentially. So like we could go Goddard, but
you like Goddard over Ertz?
No question, yes. Just Ertz's age. And I don't have that much Goddard, but let's just stress it with Kelsey. So
I gotta be honest, if I was taking a running back here, it'd probably be Melvin.
All right, we'll give you Melvin and I'll take
ends.
Ken Walker then. I'm cool with Melvin.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not a Ken Walker guy, but whatever.
I'm not a Ken Walker guy either, especially like I used to be taking Rashad Dollar in this range because again he wanted me the millie, so we give him the little boost there on Rashad Penny. Now he's flipped Ken Walker, so I think like he is a high draft capital guy. They play the Jets week 17, not exactly a world beater defense. No, do I want to be taking players on bad teams? Usually not, but whatever. High draft capital dude. I usually go Cordero over Melvin. Just Melvin's getting up there. I mean, what do you think? Let's talk about Cordero. Do you think he's going to be getting wide receiver snaps this year? Do you view him was last year a mirage? Like, what's his fit with Mariota? What are they going to do? Tyler Algier? What's your take?
I don't like Tyler Algier at all. So I'm in on Patterson. But for me, this is about, I think Melvin Gordon is just going too low at this point. Like, why is he going below Stevenson, right? Like, it's a similar role.
Recent camp news got people real excited.
But it's not really been that way. Like, everything I've heard is it's still like a 50-50 split. So
I think it's the James White injury is what got people excited. Is they're like, oh, Ramondre is the third down back, which I don't think is I'm not convinced James White's done. Like, why did they bring him back?
Pierre Strong could definitely steal some third down. If he proves he
Pierre Strong's out there, and look again, Ramondre got benched last year because he was a bad pass blocker. If he whiffs on pass blocking, he's not going to be the third down back. But he's a second-year player. To me, Melvin is just like, how old is he now?
Yeah, he's old. But again, like you look at the Denver team, they lost Crockett last night or yesterday to a torn ACL. They don't really have a third option there. So
yeah, like Mike Boone is a talented player, but every Bronco should be elevated a little bit with the Tim Patrick injury.
Right.
I just for playoff formats, like Melvin, I think is great on drafters. I don't have to worry about him having a role and being healthy when all the money matters. But it does give us correlation with Kelsey, and obviously, Javonte Williams could get hurt. Like that's massive contingency value for Melvin, where he literally is a league winner then. So we got to get some shares there. But I don't think the split's going to be 50-50 with Javonte, no matter what people are saying. Like I'm a Javonte has the potential to be like a top 5 pick guy.
Hackett's always been on offenses where two guys get like 40% plus of the work. So he's going to have to prove to me he's good. Like I like Javonte. I'll take him when he falls in the late second, but I'm not just going to leave Melvin Gordon alone at this kind of 10th round price. Like I just think that's too late.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to get a lot of shares, and if only for contingency value at worst case, like that's massive. But Melvin Gordon is 29 now. So generally, like most years I approach it, like if a old running back is the piece I need to win, I lose. Like Latavius Murray last year, a lot of people were like, "Yo, great, he's Alvin Kamara's." But I was like, look, if a 33-year-old running back is the piece I need, I lose. And I comfortably had 0% in the 10th round. Like now, all the running backs are getting steamed now, but like I never would go Melvin over James Cook, over Kareem Hunt,
or Penny, or Harris, or Edmonds.
Yeah, like we used to be able to get those pieces, but now everyone is it's kind of doing a little. The 9/10 is doing a little maneuvering with recent running back buzz.
That's fine. I think we have to take Tua here.
Yeah, I'm okay grabbing Tua with Dak. Like, we don't need to. Whoa, Baker Mayfield going early. I'm fine with Tua. And then let's grab Hines. Or no, let's grab
Michael Carter. I love me Michael Carter. Second highest owned player I have.
We could get him here.
No way. I'm telling you now, he will not make it. On a stream with me, people know better.
We'll grab Carter for the Seige here.
Thank you. Yeah, there's people they on a stream with me, they know Michael Carter is like they know they won't get him in 13, so they'll take him early.
I think in general for 0 running back builds though, it was pretty bad for us to take Tua there.
I think we're just committed ourselves to at least 7 running backs, which is fine. We were probably
going and I would like to Hines is a tier break for me to.
I got to give you the case for Michael Carter. Michael Carter.
No. Michael Carter, I include there. Like there are some guys I like here. There's some guys I don't. But pretty quickly, you're looking at this for running back.
Yeah, I don't mind that tier. I don't.
I mean, look, CJ, you could sell yourself on any running back is the point. But the main point is you drafted Dak, who is actually elite, right? Tua, we're projecting, right? I think the Dolphins potentially could be a 12-win team if it's all come together. But yeah, I mean, look, you can sell yourself on any running back. Every running back has contingent value. There's some guys I really like late too, so I'm cool with grabbing Tua to go with Waddle. What do you think if everyone's healthy, what do you view the split between Waddle and Tyreek? Because they both can play the Debo role, right? Like why? Like Debo left, Debo right.
Yeah, I would say like Tyreek 58, Waddle 42 ish,
and options to have contingent value,
right? Also, too, they play the Pats week 17, and the Pats right now have 1 corner, and you imagine that 1 corner is going to go.
No, exactly. The Pats corners are. I don't think people realize that they could be some of the worst in the. And now the only thing that could save the Patriots secondary to me is, I think you guys have an interesting, if not good, safety crew, and safeties can mask a lot when you have talented safeties. Kyle Duggar is pretty good, right?
And they love to box Tyreek Hill, which is what they've done in the past when he was on the Chiefs. Imagine they'll do the same thing. But that just means that I want that Tua Waddle.
Tyreek didn't have Waddle next to him, like he had Kelsey next to him. Kelsey's very good, but it's a different skill set. It's not stretch the defense as much as Waddle is. Plus, Chase Edmonds is an interesting piece for the Dolphins. Like everything but O-line on the Dolphins is pretty. Like I think the Dolphins defense is really good.
I would be pretty surprised if the Dolphins didn't finish at least second in the division this year.
I mean, I think that we have to rank them too. The Jets are interesting, but they're probably recent reports are Joe Flacco is looking good over Wilson. Like that's a tough break.
Yeah, that's a tough break.
And the Patriots, like whatever. Okay, maybe they're like a 6 to 9 win team. I don't really know. But
Mac Jones is really going to have to air the ball out for them to get above 9 wins.
Yeah, and the problem is you just have so many good young quarterbacks in the AFC. Like the AFC is loaded, So like if the Dolphins make the playoffs, who do they push out? That are they how many teams from the AFC West can make it?
Probably 3.
If it's 3 though, maybe they're going to cannibalize each other is the point. I could see it being 2.
Could be.
The Chargers to me are the second best team in football. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and the Raiders are much better this year.
I think the Raiders are the most underrated team in that division. People don't understand how good that team's going to be.
Yes, they're gonna be great for fantasy. Who knows though? I'm gonna give Josh McDaniels the out that he's gonna do some donkey shit.
It's possible, but man, I love those 49ers Raiders week 17 stacks. That's all I gotta say.
Some fun pieces there. The thing with Tua too, to me, is I don't like Tua more than Jameis, and it's like he just goes multiple. Now that by itself, again, is not a reason not to take a player. It's okay to just take a player that's going to finish the same, just because it's playoff weeks that matter a lot. Let's see what ZFM does here. So I really want to grab Herbert to
Yep.
me, and then I'm cool with anything else you want to do.
I don't mind Jamal Williams on this build.
I'm kind of afraid with Justin Jackson signing. I like Justin Jackson a lot, but I'll grab.
The problem is that I always was a Justin Jackson guy, but the problem is like once 3 different coaching staffs like basically never play you, I'm just going to assume that there's something I'm missing.
Yeah, I hear you there. It's just like he filled in really, like, he's 85% Austin Eckler when he's out there in some senses. It does correlate with Chicago, so that's nice to add another Detroit Chicago piece for Week 17 purposes.
I mean, if you want to jump Darrell Williams, I wouldn't be opposed to that either. That's
what are your take on the recent, like, there's been a steady beat that Eno Benjamin is looking good. I was taking a lot of Darrell Williams, and it's giving me pause with this recent Eno Benjamin hype.
They barely put on the pads. It's like 2 or 3 days of pads. They haven't had a pass block yet. Like I just any young running back, until I see you pass block in a game, I am not concerned that you're actually going to steal snaps.
Yeah, I mean, we need to project a little bit rather than only seeing it first, but I do hear you there. A lot of people in the analytics community love Eno Benjamin too, so it's interesting, but he's not a big guy. Like, if James Conner goes down, I think that the chance of Eno Benjamin like being a workhorse is close to 0. I don't see why another piece would not rotate in pretty heavily.
And we've seen Darrell Williams be like that sub on the Chiefs multiple times and handle the role.
That's why I love him. It's just like this Eno shit's giving me maybe, and we don't know. Like, maybe all the time, I think people feed things to the media for motivation purposes. So maybe the coach is like, look, we want Darrell's best. This will light a little fire under him, keep him worried that he might not get his job. Who is the Tyreek Hill stopper? Is that Malcolm Butler? Like, what? There is no Tyreek Hill stopper in the NFL.
I mean, the double coverage. That's a good
Patriots fans are some of the most delusional bunch out there.
I mean, they've done a nice job on Tyreek Hill, but it's always required 2 players.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you placed Jalen Waddle in the Chiefs, I don't think people would have been double covering Tyreek.
Oh, I think the Patriots will still try to double cover Tyreek, but it's just not going to work. Bill Belichick will just say, I'm not going to let Tyreek Hill beat me.
Jonathan Jones is the Tyreek. I don't know anything about that, but
there was a playoff game where Jonathan Jones just locked him down. It was kind of ridiculous. It's still one of the biggest flukes in Patriots history, in my opinion. But there was an entire game where Jonathan Jones just like absolutely shut him down.
That does not sound like it's going to be replicated. Let's get your take on some of these. Who are some of your late round guys that you're going heavy on the field with?
So we mentioned Darrell Williams, so I assume won't get back to us at this point. That's one. I was pretty heavy on Gus Bus until I heard that he's going to be out for a few more weeks. I have just basically taken him off my board.
Yeah.
Chris Evans, I'm not buying this Samaje Perine hype. And that's kind of, and then like there's a couple other guys late.
Give us some other positions. You named 3 running backs.
I did. That's because those are my highest on late guys by a lot. So wide receiver.
Well, that talks to your structure. You're usually building 0 RB-ish. If you're
not necessarily 0 RB, kind of like I might take 1 or 2 at the top and then kind of attack the 9 through 18 range.
Yeah.
After that,
that's 0 RB to me when your running backs are coming from the 9th to 18th round.
Yeah, I just sometimes like to have an anchor there with them.
Yeah.
But sleeper wide receivers, Duvernay is one I was pretty heavy on. Julio Jones, when he was going back that late, was one. Bryan Edwards, I'm pretty high on him. Just I think he's going to play so much on that.
He's injured. Olamide Zaccheaus is looking good in camp again.
Yeah, he's back though. It was a shoulder. Like, I'm not worried about that too much.
It's like his skill set is just a worse Drake London and a worse Kyle Pitts, right? So it's like, are you really going to roll out 3 dudes who are big and not, like?
Well, I figure Zaccheaus is going to end up in the slot.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Edwards is not a guy I'm taking too much of, but I hear your point. Like, he's going to see the field, we think.
And also too, like he also all it takes is one injury to Drake or Pitts or Zacchaeus, and suddenly
Well, the problem is we saw the Falcons last year with that, with a better quarterback that can pass for more yards, and none of the pieces were really what you wanted.
I think Bryan Edwards is a substantial upgrade over anything they threw out there last year.
How about at the tight end position?
Yeah, so I mean, for me, my late tight ends is a one-player list. It's Taysom Hill.
It's who?
Taysom Hill.
Hey, baby, I like to hear that. I'm a big Taysom Hill truther too, and I love to pair him with like a Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce type.
Yep, exactly the builds I put him in. You take a stud early and you take him late. You know, if the stud's out, he's gonna get you 7, 8 points with those between the rushing and a couple catches, and you'll survive.
All right, we are coming up on the clock. There's still some wide receivers I like in this range if we want to add to it. We have 4 more picks to work with. I would say we're done at quarterback. We want to add at least 1 more tight end. I could be talked into 3 if we really like the players.
I just think this is clearly Darrell Williams and Mostert for us, though.
Are you a Mostert guy? I wanted to ask about that.
But he was the running. I mentioned there was a running back I was going to leave off the list. He was one of them. I just think that he's a guy that's going to probably end up getting more red zone work than people think. Edmonds was never really a red zone guy in Arizona.
Wouldn't Michelle profile more as that like red zone guy to you? Like Mostert's the speed back. Like, isn't he the guy that's gonna like?
Michelle is a very good fit in that McDaniel. I'm not sure he's gonna make the team, to be honest.
Well, yeah, no idea if anyone's gonna make the team. Mostert's a guy I wasn't really loading up on early, but recently I've been getting some shares, and to me, like the best case for him is he's like Elijah Mitchell from last year, but just at a really cheap cost. He's like a boom bust guy, but I wasn't really sure if he was a grind between the tackles type dude. And I don't know, Michelle, like people, I think he suffered through some injuries, but he did it for the Rams last year in stretches.
Sure, but you have to remember, Mostert knows that offense. He was there with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel then targeted him as to come to play in this offense. I just don't think that's for a zero workload.
That's fair. The Miami backfield is also one of the backfields where I think it's fine to double up players. Edmonds and Mostert and Michelle. Like, I don't know. Michelle's not retiring from football this year. Let me say that. He will be playing football, in my opinion. The Rams O-line was good that he produced with, but we were like wondering, is he going to be playing in the playoffs over Cam Akers? He did fail physical with the Saints before he signed with the Dolphins. That's a little concerning, but Ashton Dulin getting steamed. I'm not in on that. I've been hearing the drumbeat. He's a wide receiver for the Colts, but I like Paris Campbell. I like Alec Pierce.
Romeo Doubs, though, that is the name I am chasing up the board.
Oh yeah, it's getting McKenzie and Dubs, 15th round, 14th round.
McKenzie, I probably will stop after right there. That's probably where I'll stop the chase. But Dobbs, I might chase all the way, like into George Pickens territory.
There's a player I want to ask you about, but I want to wait until we are on the clock. How about Will Fuller? Are you a Will Fuller guy?
I don't have a single Will Fuller share.
Oh, that's a mistake, brother. That's a mistake. I mean, unless he retires.
I think he's done.
Yeah.
Tell me what happened last year with any sort of confidence. I just can't touch him.
The only question is, where is his head at? I don't care about the finger, really.
That's the part that I don't have. I haven't gotten one answer about the head thing. And that's just to me, it's just terrifying.
Well,
legitimately, I hate taking zeros in best balls.
I think a 0 doesn't hurt you as much as a smash helps you. And there's certain builds where Will Fuller makes a lot of sense. His agent clearly told Aaron Wilson to tweet out the other day, hey, teams are monitoring Will Fuller. So at least the agent is trying to motivate Will Fuller. Does Will Fuller want to be motivated? I don't know, but so Taysom's gone. We're gonna have to pivot there. And with this crew of running backs, honestly, I don't think we need an 8th. We can go 8 if you want, but there's a wide receiver I want to take that fits our team unless he got
Unless he gets sniped here. I think I know
unless
who
we.
you're going to ask about. Maybe.
So I want to take Tyquan Thornton,
Yes, I had a feeling that's what you were going to say.
and then let's choose our tight end. I like Logan Thomas.
It's either Logan Thomas or Mel Alley Cox for me.
I'm not Mo Alley Cox. What about Dulcich? Are you a Dulcich guy?
No, rookie tight ends, no way.
Okay.
Especially not as a tight end too. That's for sure.
Goodbye to these guys. So with Tyquan, I don't think people. It's why I'm not in on Jacoby Myers. I don't think people realize that he might play the slot.
He's not going to start the season as the slot. He might end the season as the slot.
No, yes, exactly. Well, Siege, all the money's in week 17. Who cares who starts week 1?
I think Jacoby Myers is not going to be the guy who gets playing time cut, but I see a lot of ways in which someone else loses playing time.
I think the fantasy community likes Jacoby Myers a lot more than the Patriots potentially.
Didn't they just extend him?
And their ESPN depth charts has Thornton listed as the slot. There was a report the other day that he got work in the slot as kind of this like big fast slot guy. The Patriots need speed on the field, man. They have no speed on the field to threaten safeties right now. Thornton's the only guy who can do it. So I think they like Kendrick Bourne. I think they like Devontae Parker. Myers to me is the guy who could get squeezed.
I guess they didn't sign an extension. I guess you're onto something here.
And I think people just assumed because Thornton ran a really fast 40-yard dash that, hey, he's an outside guy. But I don't know, man. He's a New England piece, so it's nice to have that with our Miami stack. He's a rookie. We like that. And I like how we built this team, man.
Second round draft capital, too.
Second high draft capital, yeah.
I gotta admit, Tyquan Thornton moving up the ranks as we speak. Let's stop him. I guess we'll probably stop him right here. Except I have to move these guys up too.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about where Tyquan will play. Maybe he won't play, but I think also people are holding on to the narrative like, oh, Bill Belichick can't draft wide receivers. Okay, so he's whiffed on some picks. Like that does not.
People do forget he did hit a ton of wide receivers early on. Let's just say.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's just like I don't really care what happened 3 years ago. Anything that is super narrative based, such as, hey, the Patriots have had a good defense forever. That is useless information to me. Like people used to say that about the Bills. Oh, the Bills, they're not a playoff team, and then now everyone loves Josh Allen and the Bills. So. People flip pretty. A lot of people need to see things first rather than.
Do you have any Danny Gray yet? By the way,
I have a little bit of Danny Gray, just because I think he's a good fit with Trey Lance. Let's let this draft fill. Let's name it and let's look at the team. So we'll name this one Siege, so I know who to split the $2 million with when we take this down.
What about the regular season, Millie? It's gonna be $3 million.
Well, we're getting the regular season prize too. Hey, we're greedy over here. I like it. Let's count up the week 17 correlation we have because we have quite a bit. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Carter pivots with is with Walker.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 out of 18 pieces correlated for week 17 and a bunch of players I like anyways. That's how I like to build my teams with this 460 person final, man. I think this is a strong build for zero RB. I see the case for these guys, like guys who should be getting us some points early. Mostert, I think. Ken Walker, Michael Carter, Khalil Herbert potentially, Jamal Williams potentially, like Melvin for sure early, and then some late season guys too, and massive contingent values on a lot of these guys. Carter contingent value, Herbert contingent value, Gordon, Walker, Williams,
Basically,
Jamal, maybe. Yeah. So I like this crew, man. How about you get us a rating out of 10?
8. I kind of wish the second tight end spot is a little dicey to me.
I think ultimately it's like
flair.
If Kelce is Travis Kelce, it won't matter. A, B, Logan Thomas to me, like, look, Daniel Bellinger is running at the 1, so like he's a safe guy. He's a guy who's going to get points right away. But Logan Thomas has the potential. Maybe he doesn't come back until week 4. I know he's old, but he's good at football. He, Wentz sometimes likes tight ends. He could be someone who, he's like a year removed from a 140-point season. So I'm still chasing the upside with him, even though
I think I'm just more sad about like the tight ends that went right before. Like I would have liked to have Hill. I would have liked to have Hooper. Maybe not Hooper, but Brevin Jordan would have been nice.
Yeah, Brevin Jordan. I would have taken not Hooper. I would have taken Jordan. I would have taken Hill.
Yeah.
And I don't always go Logan here, but I feel like if we're weak at tight end and our other tight end is Travis Kelce, that is fine.
Yeah. I just sometimes we get greedy in these. It's just like I don't want any weak spots. Like obviously every draft.
I don't think we are weak, but if we're going to be weak somewhere, I like to be weak at a position that I'm not even really counting to play, such as if I have an elite quarterback, I'm okay being weak at my QB2. I'm okay being weak at my tight end 2.
I do like our if we make it to week 17, I like the fact that we've got Tua and Waddle against the Pats, and we've got Dak and CeeDee Lamb
and Mostert.
Yeah, I just meant like those are the games I want to attack. Like Dallas at Tennessee on a short week when Tennessee might be dead is a fantastic spot to be.
Yeah, it's like the Dallas Tennessee game. I don't know. That's what I think. Tennessee.
I think god awful this season.
Yeah, I think Tennessee is going to be bad, but Dallas might be good on defense. So maybe they're not that incentive. Like, who knows? Maybe they need to win games to win the NFC East. Whatever. I like the team. Guys, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And CJ, how about you tell the people where they can look out for you and what you got coming down the pipe in content?
Yeah, so fantasyguru.com is where you can find everything I do between DFS, best ball, and seasonal. Yeah, there's not a whole lot coming down the pipeline. I leave this actually right after the show. I'm heading to the Lake of the Ozarks for a golf tournament. So I'm taking a weekend off. I'm kind of just turning off the brain from best ball. But next week, is when it kind of just turns into best ball all the time. Best ball season long, FFPC best balls. Have you done any FFPC best balls, by the way, yet?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit.
Yeah, I need to get back on that. I have to do a couple of those. So I just got kind of a lot of things on the to-do list of drafting. So I'm a little bit behind. So yeah, I'm probably just going to be just sitting in the Discord channel drafting basically.
What do you do DFS wise once the season starts for content?
Yes. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do this season, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be, I do a Siege's Takes article where I basically just spell out my highest 3 owned guys as of Saturday afternoon in my MME script, kind of where I'm at, why I like them, and then a sleeper and a guy I'm fading at every position. So it's a pretty in-depth article, but it's fun because
are you someone for DFS who like 150 maxes the maker, or like, what's your?
Sure. I'm 150 max on FanDuel every week. DraftKings just kind of depends on what's out there. So,
I'm definitely going to blast off in the high stakes in DraftKings this year, at least to begin the year. I'm going to take shots at the 4K Millie Maker, at least like one a week. And if I have a bad start to the year, I can tail it back. But I won a little bit of money at the WSOP, so I'm going to put that towards football. That's and right. I need to get on the FanDuel streets, man.
Did you play the 1K bounty? What was that? The mystery?
Yeah, bounty? The mystery bounty. I'm about to tweet out my WSOP results, but I think it was around plus 40-ish. But I'm not counting.
I've had so much FOMO. Like everyone loved that tournament. I was like,
it was the most fun tournament I've played in my life. Now, of course, I was lucky to make day. I mean, I fired 5 bullets and I grinded I fired 5 day ones and I got to the end about to make day 2 on one of the days and was out. So you make the money on day one, late in day one, before day two starts. And I mean, I worked. I got all the way to the end, and then I like donked off. And what I do? I got right back up and did the same fucking shit tomorrow. Played from 11 a.m. to midnight. Made day two again. Came back, or actually made day two that time. Made day two, and then I ended up with 9 bounties, man. And so here was the structure. It was 800 people came back. It was if you knock someone out, you got a bounty. It's a mystery bounty tournament, right? So what happened is and by the way, there was no info going into it. So you had no idea to plan or like what they ended up doing though is there was 50 gold chests. So if you got a bounty, you could go up to this iPad, you could click the button and it would spin for you. You could land on a 1K prize minimum, a 2.5K or 5K, or you could hit a gold chest. If you got a gold chest, you got a minimum 25K. There was a mil prize. There was a 500K prize. There was like there was 1 250. There was like 3 100Ks, 8 50Ks, and the rest 25Ks. And so I got 9 bounties. I got 1 gold chest, and it was a 25K. But the mill was gone at the time, so that wasn't. But it was so much fun, man. Like I would definitely play mystery bounty, and I think you could implement mystery bounty into best ball for like once you get to the playoffs, randomize if that player's in your pool and you advance past them, you knock them off. You know, like you could do some fun shit like that.
Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. All right, guys, we took too much of CJ's time, but make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and have a great day. I'll be back at 6 p.m. jumping on with Daigle and friends on the Best Ball Happy Hour. Not on my channel, though.